Hello, welcome to Let's Get Down to Business with the Prince Rupert and District Chamber of Commerce. We are here to give a voice to our local business owners, entrepreneurs, and community leaders to strengthen and support our local business community and to share the wisdom and experience of longtime business leaders and the fresh ideas and experiences of new entrepreneurs. So let's get down to business.
Hi, my name is Daphne Thompson, and I am the president of the Prince Rupert and District Chamber of Commerce. We are here to let's get down to business with Christy Paquet. Christy, thank you so much for joining us today. Please tell us a little bit about you and your business and just what makes you so absolutely famous.
Famous. Not sure if famous yet, but working on it. I'm a long time resident of Prince Rupert. I did grow up here, and my family used to own an accommodations in Cow Bay called the Eagle Bluff Bed and Breakfast, which is where I grew up, and how I also got my start into entrepreneurship. I went to school. I did get a degree in business at the UNBC, and then had an opportunity at the time to buy a rundown property called the Pioneer. Used to be known as Pioneer Rooms, and I purchased it and fixed that up and ran that for 17 years. And I've owned a couple of small little businesses, and the most recent business venture is Sourdough YPR.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about that. How did that sourdough come about?
Okay, yeah. It's kind of just materialized a little bit. I was kind of floundering a little bit there during COVID, and kind of looking for the next sort of, what am I going to do? And I actually was painting for a little bit. A friend sort of took me under her wing and taught me how to paint, and I was doing that for a bit. But I had also started baking sourdough bread. A family friend had posted on Facebook about having some additional starter if anybody wanted any, and so I thought, hey, I'll give that a try. And yeah, I started baking bread, and lots of fails. Sourdough bread's actually not that straightforward, but I kept trying because most of the results were pretty good. And then in November of 2021, I was invited to join a local advocacy for the local feral cats, the PERS, the cat, where they rescue and try to rehome and reduce the population of the stray cats. And I was asked to come on board to help organize that fundraiser, which I did, and I donated some sourdough bread, and the bidding on it was really it was hilarious. I had 2 loaves of bread go for $100, and I was like, and then that was cool, and kept baking bread. And then the next year, same thing, was asked to come back and assist with the PERS charity I got my dates wrong, 2020, and then in 2021 again. And it was at that conclusion of that fundraising event, all the organizers, we had gone out for dinner, and a couple of them were like, Christy, you really need to consider selling your bread. It's amazing. You should consider selling your bread in Prince Rupert. It's not available anywhere. And I was kind of like, yeah, but I'd have to charge, it's expensive. And they're like, Christy, we'll pay it. It's so good. Like, people will pay for that. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. So then I started to test the market, and I posted on Facebook to all the people I knew, my friends, and said, hey, I want to test the market. I want to see if there's a market for it. And there was. And this is all literally like November 2021. And now we're August. It's now August 2022. And in that meantime, I had an empty basement that I was renovating. And I thought, I'm going to put a bakery in that basement. And then I did, and I got it, it's all inspected. It's all, I got a business license. I got insurance for the house. It's all like legitimate business. And yeah, now I'm baking bread and selling it in the Prince Rupert community.
That is so amazing. So what I'm hearing is, first of all, you saw you kind of stumbled on an opportunity. You did some market research. You got your surveys and your stats in. You did price testing to see what is actually what's happening. And then you kind of just went for it. How did that make you feel? Like, what was that tipping point of, oh shoot, am I really going to invest so much into a bakery? And is it actually going to work? Like, how did you deal with that part? Because every entrepreneur faces with that type of oh, is it going to work? What am I going to do? Type of thing.
You know what, it's always nerve-wracking. There's, I've had a couple small little businesses that, there's always that leap of faith. And I think, you have to believe in yourself, and it's very important when you have the support of your family and friends and your community. And I had all of that, which I think is very, it's really important to have that sort of support. And just a belief, just believing in yourself and knowing that, you want to persevere. And that doesn't always work in every situation, for sure, but I think that's a really big component of any successful business. Social media is an amazing, it's an amazing thing for helping getting word out there. And yeah, I hope I answered that.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you saying is, for other entrepreneurs and business owners that are listening, is that you do need a solid support group. You, like, no man is an island. You do need to have that support that helps you through. You also need to have a solid marketing plan.
Yes, for sure. I think there's, cases out there where that's not necessary and people have managed to persevere regardless, but it certainly eases the path.
Definitely. So with regarding the marketing that you're doing, I know that you're also doing a lot of collaborations. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So collaborations are, a very smart way to help promote both yourself and whom you're collaborating with. So I guess the first collaboration really was reaching out, like, as a home-based bakery, there are, some challenges, right? Like, you have people showing up to your house and at all times of the day, parking can be a challenge. And I just didn't really see that being sustainable for many different reasons. And I kind of realized that I was probably going to need some sort of a storefront, which is expensive. And, that's another huge investment step that may come down the road, but at this young stage of the business is not somewhere I wanted to go. And so, I'd sat down with my husband and a few friends and I'd said, like, this needs to be something to consider. I wonder where it would be a good fit. And my husband said, I really think Mission Health and Wellness could be a wonderful, location. You should go and talk with Farah. And I did. And Farah was very receptive. She's a huge supporter of local products and businesses. And yeah, so far it's been an amazing fit. So that would be one of the first collaborations. And then I had the manager, Nicole Gordon, reach out to me from the Yaga Cafe. And she was like, hey, like, we've heard, some really great things, and we were wondering if it's a possibility to work on that. So we did some testing of that. And yeah, right now I do supply a portion of their sandwiches. Sorry, the bread for their sandwiches, which is the focaccia, sourdough focaccia. And I'm always kind of looking for that next little, sort of symbiotic relationship where, people can help cross promote one another.
That is amazing. So what I'm hearing is, in your strategy and in making your business bigger and better and scaling, is that you are doing collaborations. You're seeing how you can increase the frequency of people needing your product and how you can do that. Is there maybe like a subscription thing that people could sign on to you, hopefully in the future?
I would really like to pursue that. Certainly the website that I'm using, there is the ability to have a subscription base. Where you could sign up for a month or 3 months or something, where you get bread maybe delivered. I'm still working that one out. Maybe there'd be a small fee for that, but where you actually say, okay, I know that every week on Thursdays I want to have fresh sourdough delivered to my door. And I think that there would certainly be interest in that. I know that's a very common business platform for other small based bakeries, much like myself in around the world. And that could be an option. I'm unsure how to deal with, the reason it's kind of slowed and hasn't happened is I'm not sure how to deal with flavor requests. Like if somebody's like, geez, I'd really like cheese and jalapenos in my sourdough this week. I don't know how I would sort of field that. So I still have a few.
Yeah, customization and personalization is always a little bit of a tricky one when you're trying to get systems in place so that it's repeatable and that you've got a process going, because that cuts down on costs again.
Yes.
So yeah, that's always a little bit of a tricky one. However, when customization and personalization comes in, that's a opportunity for higher profits. Yeah, it can be a bigger profit margin because it's outside of the system.
Right.
But yeah, that's definitely it's exciting. I know the first time that I heard about you was actually also a couple of months ago, and a lady that I work with was saying, hey, I saw the sourdough online. Do you want to try it? And I'm like, yes, this, like my grandmother used to make this bread. I miss it. Yes, please. And we basically just had 2 or 3 days in the office of just eating sourdough every day. That was amazing.
Yeah. What kind of sourdough was it? Do you remember?
Delicious ones.
Delicious ones. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So what is next for you? In the Prince Rupert community specifically, what is your next big thing that you want to achieve here?
Well, I do have a few little projects that I've kind of been, speaking with other business owners about. Right now, I'm still trying to get my systems in place and working out my timings in the bakery, and because I am new to baking on a sort of a bigger commercial scale. It was, I've gone from 2 loaves of bread to whatever it ends up being per week, probably like 60 or 70 loaves right now.
Wow.
But it does need to get bigger. That's actually not a sustainable number. So I do need to get that, bigger through various different little ideas. So I've actually reached out to the Maverick Mart, which is an amazing little convenience store that has some really cool specialty items. And both Helga and Rick have been very receptive and very supportive. And I've started just the other week, I brought in a big batch of muffins and cookies, which they're already gone. So that could be a really cool option to maybe expand that. Looking at maybe also having some bread sales there as well. And I've also been in talks with the folks that own the Wheelhouse Brewing, because you know what would be really great with beer? Pretzels.
Pretzels, yes, but I was thinking like all right, no, pretzels are better. I was thinking a sandwich, but pretzels are definitely better.
Yeah, something, right, to help soak all that goodness up.
So yes. Oh, this is just becoming more yummy and yummy. All right, so what are the products that you are supplying right now? I know about the bread. That's amazing. We've heard now cookies as well. Just maybe pretzels.
Well, pretzels haven't happened yet. It's so far, it's been a matter of me trying to find the time to be able to get that in there and make some practice pretzels, and then unfortunately I got sick a couple weeks ago. I was feeling a bit run down, and then I ended up kind of getting really under the weather there. So I had to take a small break. So now I'm back at it. And yes, so pretzels are in the works. And I've also been playing with one other sort of in the background idea to maybe do like a sourdough pizza night. I do cinnamon buns. That one, I can't believe I forgot that. Not just, so at Mission Health and Wellness, you can get like really decadent cinnamon buns. They're not sourdough buns, they're just yeasted. But they're pretty delicious too. I've got a great following on the cinnamon buns. Yeah.
And so how can we get a hold of you? I know there's certain days, one that you are at the missions, but how else can we get a hold of you?
Well, I am, obviously you can contact me through Instagram and Facebook, but we all know not everybody is on, social media. So the other option would be online. I do have a website, which is sourdoughYPR.com. And through that website, you can place orders, although it's sort of still, basically the days that I would be baking to bring goods to Mission Health and Wellness would also be the days where you'd actually be able to get your order. Sourdough it's a 24-hour process. Basically, I start the bread the day before. So it's not something you can kind of just decide, Friday morning, I'd like sourdough for tonight. I can't do it that way. So you do have to, you do have to have a little bit of planning in advance.
Oh,
But,
so
and I was just gonna say, and otherwise phoning. But I don't have a storefront, where people could place an order. It has to be done through my website.
So what days are your products at Missions?
Tuesdays and normally Thursdays, although not this week. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do bring fresh sourdough breads to Mission Health. On Fridays, we have focaccia Fridays. So I dedicate my bake morning to building focaccias with various topping flavors. And then Saturdays, we're calling them cinnamon bun Saturdays. So 4 days a week for the fresh baking at Mission Health.
Wow, and so all our listeners, please mark it in your calendars. 4 days a week, you can get this amazing sourdough YPR in Missions, and of course her website. So please reach out to her. What is your social media handles that people can follow you as well?
Sourdough YPR.
Easy as that. Sourdough YPR. That's where you can get her on Facebook, on Instagram, on the website. So please do make your orders. The weekend is coming. Family is coming over, I'm sure. Get pizza night out. That is actually a really great idea. I would love to join one of your pizza nights.
Yes. So that would be so the idea is you would actually just pre-order a pizza and then you'd come and pick it up. You have to come pick it up and take it away. You wouldn't be able to, hang out at the bakery and eat it. And it's something I'd really like to do. I think it would be a really great way to sort of, bump up the business. I just celebrated my birthday on the weekend, actually, and I'd invited some friends and family over for a pizza night. So there was probably 12, 14 of us, and we were all making our own pizzas. That was pretty cool. It's a lot of work. So I've got some practicing to do. I love the idea, and I think it's could be a great supplement to the business. So not maybe a single person endeavor. I think I would need to hire help for that.
Well,
which has been something, that can be problematic.
So you just touched on two things. The first one is that would actually be like having pizza night, but having people make your pizza with you. That can be an amazing team building thing, or even a live experience that if you ever want to continue that. I just know sometimes when we do that at home, it always brings everyone together. They talk about it. And it's an amazing experience. So I kind of love that idea if you ever eventually want to think about that.
Maybe for like a pizza night for a private party.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that, possibly. I can't see how it would work with a bunch of random strangers coming in and putting, people's you gotta pick your toppings up. This day and age for COVID, I'm not sure.
No, definitely, but a closed group as an experience event, that would be really nice. The other thing that you mentioned is staffing, and that is something that everyone in Prince Rupert is currently facing. It is challenging. We don't have enough people to do all the work that we have. So what are some of the ways that you currently trying to overcome this challenge?
Right. Well, I'm not currently trying to overcome it because at this stage of the game, I am a one-woman show. However, I do have, there's a number of my friends and acquaintances who love to cook and who have expressed interest in, they think it'd be a great night to come and, obviously for pay, of course, but a great time to come out for a couple hours on a Friday night, and help build pizzas for a couple hours. And that is a challenge in Prince Rupert. It's pretty hard to compete with some of the wages. And at the end of the day, in the hospitality or in the food industry, you have to be kind of passionate about what you're doing. You're not really doing it for the money. I'm probably never going to get rich doing this. Hopefully I can make a living at it. And I certainly enjoy it. And that's pretty important. But yeah, wages are, that's a hard one. I don't know how I would overcome that.
Well, luckily we do have a community of people that is facing the same challenge. At the chambers, this is also a hot topic that we're trying to try and assist in some sort of way. Yeah, the wages are very competitive, and it does make it challenging for small to medium enterprises to compete with the demand.
Yeah.
So yes, this is a topic, and yeah, anyone that's listening, please comment below and tell us what your solution might be, what you think could help with this. That's always, we love hearing from you. So let's talk more a bit about you. You said that you grew up basically as an entrepreneur, from business to business, in a household of entrepreneurs. How did that set you up, or how did that change your mindset in order to pursue more businesses?
Well, I guess you see that it's possible. I mean, it's not an unknown entity. You've also got, the experience of those people. Like, it was my mom that, married from the Eagle Bluff Bed and Breakfast. So you certainly have her support and her feedback and her input. I know it's an interesting thing, because I've talked with people about the idea of them starting their own business. Maybe they've got a little side hustle that they like. And, it takes a certain personality to want to work for themselves and take on that risk, because there's some risk, lots of risk. And, at the end of the day, ultimately, you're responsible for getting that income in, and you're also responsible if it fails. So it's a lot of risk, and not a lot of people like to take that on. I, however, really like keeping my own hours and making my own decisions. And, I want to have a coffee break at 2 and at 3, I'm going to do it. I'm not, please, sir, may I? I struggled with that in my life.
No, I hear you. That's kind of the risk versus reward that everyone, that's in any great decision. If you want to purchase a property, or if you want to go into any other kind of investments, or there's always risk versus reward.
Yeah.
But with an entrepreneurship, the risk is if you don't make sales in any sort of way, you kind of don't eat.
Yeah.
That's a direct effect. But the reward is you also have the potential to set your own salary. You've got the potential to have freedom wherever you go. With certain systems and things, as any small business, you can try and plan to take a 6 weeks holiday and it not affect your income. These are possibilities that entrepreneurship and being a business owner gives. But like you said, it does take a lot of risk. There's mindset that needs to happen, mindset shifts. There's a lot of planning. You are a jack of all trades. You are the marketer, you are your HR, you are the operations, you are the CEO, you're the CFO, you are the product, you're the creator, which makes you very knowledgeable in all areas, but also creates a time issue, because no one knows your business the way that you do. No one loves your business the way you do. That's just a fact. And no one else can serve the community the way you do, right?
Hopefully.
No, that's a fact.
That's a fact.
That is just a fact. There is no one like you, and there will never want anyone be like you. That's just a fact.
Right.
Anyone else can try and make sourdough. That's true, but no one can do it the way you do. That's your unique selling point. That's what makes you amazing, is that no one else can do it the way you do. And I think a lot of business owners should always try and remember that you, as your person, your personality, your experiences, your knowledge, that is your unique selling point. No one can do it like you do. No one can serve the community the way you do. You've got that X factor of what you learned at the bed and breakfast, and what you learned from your other businesses that you're bringing in here that no one else has.
There's definitely some experiences to draw on.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I wanted to say, actually, you just made me think of something when you're talking about how nobody can sell it the way you sell it. And I've gotten to be known around the town as the bread lady, which is kind of cool. But I've also, from like friends and family, they'll tell me, the children that they're either, babysitting, or their children in their household. Like, people have gotten to know, first of all, is that Christy bread? And this is it Christy bread?
Yeah.
So I thought, hey, maybe that's a marketing angle at some point down the road, right? Like, but is it Christy bread?
I love that. You can build a whole campaign around, is it Christy bread? Like have everyone blindfolded and be like a test. And at the next Sea Fest, see if the kids can recognize Christy's bread.
Right.
Oh, that is awesome. That is brilliant. So what are some of the experiences that you are pulling on now that you are being thankful for, that you've learned the lesson somewhere else that you apply now?
I think the big thing is also, you talked about me, any small business owner having to be the jack of all trades, and that is true. But also recognizing when maybe there's somebody that can do it better.
Yeah.
Right. But one of the things that I've sort of over the time sort of it's gotten a lot better. Social media is huge, just knowing that, that quick little post once or twice a day, you're just helping get word out there. I've had lots of experience, having to apply for permits and, building businesses from the ground up. So there was originally a little bit of skepticism maybe from some of my friends when I first talked about putting a bakery in my house, and there was, a comment about like, oh, good luck getting that approved. Mm-hmm. But I had already kind of gone through all the steps to find out, well, what exactly will it take to get it approved? So instead of just trying to do it my own way and saying, oh, I'm just going to put this bakery in there and then ask for forgiveness later, I was like, no, I want to put a bakery in there. What do you need from me? So that I had that list of, this is first, this is next, this is next. Insurance, I had to make sure my insurance was okay with it and have that in place. And then I had to go to the city and say, well, what do you need? And they, well, you need an inspection, a proper food inspection from the local health authority to come in and say, yes, actually, you're not going to poison anybody. That's a kind of a danger with, maybe lots of little successful businesses and, but I wanted to ensure that I took those steps to make sure that, I was legitimate. I wouldn't have any troubles, running into, any red tape down the way. Finding out in advance what's necessary, doing the research.
Yeah. The research part is always hectic. Is there something that you're currently encountering that you did not think of? Or even in any of the previous companies that you had, the previous businesses?
Not off the top of my head. Probably.
It probably is. There's always this something that creeps up and you're like, oh my goodness, I never thought about that.
Right.
What I always advise some of my clients and things, but is they always just have a little bit of a safety net with budgeting, so that when these things creep up, because they do, there's always a little something that you have the funds to secure it.
Right.
It's your little piggy bank of the didn't think of fund.
Yeah.
But that always
maybe it hasn't happened yet.
Yes, definitely. If it hasn't happened, amazing, and you are doing great. Most other people have got something that happens that they didn't think of.
Yeah.
What are some of the advice that you can give to another entrepreneur in the community that either wants to start out or that wants to take the next level?
Right. My experience has been, and I've heard this from other people, and it's funny, it's kind of it keeps coming back to it. I know that lots of people want to grow. Like it's a very ego expanding. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but basically, when you expand and people think, oh, look how well they're doing. And oh, you've gone from this little outfit into like this big, massive building, and expansion seems very glamorous, but with expansion comes big costs. And one of the my experience when I owned the Pioneer, I originally bought the original building, and then I decided I was going to build onto the building, and I built on an addition with a couple extra rooms and my own a little house as well for me to be more comfortable. And that was very gratifying. It was done at a time when nobody was really building because we were pretty economically depressed. But man, did my costs go up exponentially. And it was no longer at a stage where I could run it by myself. And 2020 hindsight, you know, it was a great learning experience, but really keep it small, keep it all. And I kind of feel like that's probably really good advice for anybody that's starting out. Like, just start small, test the market, keep it scalable where you can, you know, where you can handle it by yourself. I know this maybe doesn't apply to every, you know, business type, but for me and my comfort and risk level, keep it small, keep it all.
I love it. Keep it small, keep it all. There are different ways, like through collaborations and different partnerships, that you can expand while you still keeping it small and keeping it all, to increase the profitability of the business in order to still make what you need to make and what you want to make out of it.
Right.
But I do agree with that, if that is your goal. If you want to take the business public, then that's a different story. But if your goal is to have something that's yours, that you are still in control of and that you can handle, I love that advice. Then keep it small, keep it all. That should be your next tagline. Christy's bread, and keep it small, keep it all. Oh, you can make I'm sorry, I'm just thinking marketing now. That would be amazing. Christy's bread, keep it small, keep it all.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said, I know that doesn't apply to every, you know, sort of business. I'm sure there are obviously lots of businesses where you do need to expand and you need to bring in the right people to help assist you.
Yeah.
That is, for me, not something that I really see happening. Although that's not fair, I should say. I have a couple of girlfriends who are very close to retiring, who are foodies, who love baking, who love cooking, who have expressed great interest in joining me. And I'm like, yes, that would be amazing. I would consider that. So I guess I can't say keep it too small, but
it is whatever you want to create of it. It is what the business owner's goal is for the business and where they want to take it.
Yes. Which is really a comment on, is how I see business.
And we're here to talk about you and your point of view and get to know you. This is why we're here. So this is amazing. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom. What is one thing that, before we end off, that you want to leave the Prince Rupert business community with?
On the spot. Okay. Well, I guess I'm just going to do a bit of a, you know, shameless push. If you haven't tried Christy bread yet, you're missing out. And sorry, this isn't a question I really thought about. What do I want to leave the business community with? Well, just, I guess if there's somebody that's looking for some sort of a small collaboration that requires some really cool fancy bread, and you know, you want to give me a try, please reach out.
That's awesome. So listeners, you heard it from Christy herself and Sourdough YPR and Christy's bread. Please do follow her. Make sure that you reach out to her. I totally agree. If you have not tried Christy's bread, you are missing out. Make sure to reach her. And this is it for Let's Get Down to Business. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Let's Get Down to Business with the Prince Rupert and District Chamber of Commerce. If you would like to be featured as a guest on a future episode, please email us at rupertchamber@gmail.com or direct message us on Facebook or Instagram at Prince Rupert Chamber.